Wait, UTA? They were with UTA, the men who own United Talent Agency, who now dropped Bob Vylan, help fund illegal settlements in the West Bank and the ADL, which pretends to oppose bigotry, but in reality is pro-Israel astroturf that exists to suppress pro-Palestinian activism. You can simply present it as wrong, and then that's it. You can simply just go, quote unquote, Western colonial expansion to Israel. And then as long as you hit the air quotes, then everybody knows that the thing that he's quoting is wrong.
He isn't the only British institution in cleanup mode today. With hindsight, the BBC now says it should have pulled the plug on this iPlayer live stream on Saturday.
Oh, no. Oh, dude, they're going to put this dude in jail, by the way.
That the sentiments expressed by punk act Bob Vylan, who led the crowd in a chant of death to Israel's army, the IDF, were anti-Semitic and unacceptable.
Why? Why is it anti-Semitic? Can someone explain this to me? It's an army that's doing, okay? Like if you were to say during World War II, if you said the death to the Wehrmacht, okay, death to the SS, death to the Gestapo, would this be considered like a anti-German rhetoric? Like, would anybody care? Should anybody care? I don't. And clearly, no one in that crowd cares either. Because he's calling for the death of innocent civilians, bro. Yes, innocent civilians inside of a Merkava tank. This is so unacceptable. I can't believe you don't understand. These are innocent civilians that might get kidnapped from their Merkava tank at any moment.
The regulator Ofcom today saying the broadcaster had questions to answer over its ability to ensure compliance with its own editorial guidelines.
It should have been foreseeable that there would be problems with broadcasts this weekend.
Like, it's really funny that these guys think that they can just like put the toothpaste back in the tube. Okay, you can't. It's cooked. It's over, man. Why do you think like censorship regimes is going to change the tide of history at this point? Yeah, it's like when Americans say we must melt ice or something. You know what I mean? When we're out in the fucking streets protesting, and then the government's like, well, this is harmful speech. You have to be prosecuted for this. Like, get the out of here.
The decision to broadcast live without any delay should have been reviewed, and that a live feed should have been pulled immediately when the chants death to the IDF began.
On the same stage on Saturday, Northern Irish rappers Kneecap. Their set, like Bob Vylan's, was being reviewed by Avon and Somerset police.
North of Ireland. They're just Irish rappers, okay? They're not Northern Irish rappers. They're just Irish rappers from the north of Ireland, if you want to be specific.
This afternoon, the force said it had begun a criminal investigation into both performances, saying this has been recorded as a public order incident at this time, while our inquiries are at an early stage. The investigation will be evidence-led and will closely consider all appropriate legislation, including relating to hate crimes. The Shadow Home Secretary, Chris Philp, has called for frontman Bobby Vylan to receive the same treatment under the law as Lucy Connolly, jailed for 31 months for inciting racial hatred in the aftermath of the Southport child.
Yeah, this is not what happened to the IDF. So I feel like there's a difference here. You know what I mean? I like that all of the people that were like, oh yeah, if you incited which for the record would be illegal even in America. Okay? Like, America has free speech, but if people's statements actually led to this kind of straightforward pogrom, I think like they probably would prosecute that. And in the UK, there isn't the same like unlimited free speech that we have here in the United States of America. But like the idea that what he said about a foreign army currently doing is the same as like demanding that people go out and murder Muslims in whichever town they exist in the UK, and then on top of that, an actual happening. Like, this is not even This is not comparable.
Child murders last year. In a social media post, she called for asylum hotels to be burned, with their occupants still inside.
And the court interpreted her language as directly saying
I guess in America you wouldn't go to jail either way.
to people, go and burn down hotel. Look at the sentencing judge's remarks. You will see he emphasized the volatility of what was going on in this country, here and now. If it's an incitement to violence, not against individuals, but against an organization, which is a lawful organization in another country, big question mark. What is our jurisdiction over it?
Wow.
I worked for a record label.
Bob Vylan have now been dropped by their management agency, and visas for their US tour have been revoked. There are also calls for their appearance at a festival in Manchester this weekend to be cancelled. They didn't respond to our request for comment on the accusations against them.
I do want to ask about Syria, but first I just want to give very, very briefly.
I might want to go on and on,
How
Matt.
do you decide? Well, my question is going to be very, very brief.
Oh, all right. Yes.
How do you decide when it's okay to speak about revoking someone's visa?
Wait, UTA? They were with UTA, the men who own United Talent Agency, who now dropped Bob Vylan, help fund illegal settlements in the West Bank and the ADL, which pretends to oppose bigotry, but in reality is pro-Israel astroturf that exists to suppress pro-Palestinian activism. UTA dropped them? That's lame as shit. Look, you guys know I am repped by an agency that also is very pro-Israel. Virtually every agency in Hollywood is very pro-Israel, so much so that this happened at CAA, which is a different agency, one of the big three, big four, technically it's big three, whatever. And Maha Dakil was only saved because Tom Cruise kicked in and was like, you are not firing my agent. She's one of the top agents in Hollywood. Okay. And CAA, one of the most important talent managers at Creative Artists Agency, CAA, literally almost got dropped. Why? And this was early on, for the record, Thursday, 23rd, November 2023. It was like a month after October 7th. She faced intense criticism for describing Israel's war against Hamas as on Instagram. What's more heartbreaking than witnessing the denial that is happening? She reportedly captioned one of her posts. She apparently also reshared a statement first posted by the Free Palestine account, which read, you're currently learning who supports. That's the line for me, the wrote at the time, reacting to the post. That is what CAA almost dropped one of their top agents over. Think about how insane it is that they were willing to drop one of their top agents over. Like, this is, I don't know, maybe this is too inside baseball, but this is like, this person is like, these people at these agencies, when they get to the level that they're at, when they get to the level of Maha, like, they have done untold amounts of atrocities and they are unmovable from their position. Okay. Like, you kill someone and you'd be fine. You have an incredible clientele. Like, you have all these like top clients. Like, Tom Cruise is one of your clients. Like, of course, that's how high level of an agent she is. And they almost dropped her. I know it's from November 2023. I explained it. What happens if your agency drops you? Literally nothing. My agency didn't actually drop me after October 7, but they did tell me to, pipe down a little bit, and that no deals would be coming left about that, because, most of the work that my management and my agency does is just separate, is basically telling inbound deals that I don't want to work with them. So no deals coming in. This is what motherfuckers think. There's always deals coming in. Okay? It doesn't matter. These guys only care about fucking numbers. Is your agent pretty big at WME? He stole digital clients from CAA? Yes. I get deals all the time. I just don't take them. Yeah. Filmmaker Aaron Sorkin, boo, among DeCleo's high-profile clients, quit CAA shortly after the controversy began. Steven Spielberg reportedly had 2 IMDb pages, his and DeCleo's, edited after they wrongly listed her as his manager. DeCleo apologized for the post and resigned from her leadership roles at the talent agency. though she was allowed to continue working with her clients, among them the Top Gun star. Variety has now reported that Crew 61 may have played a direct role in mitigating the fallout for DeCleo after the Mission Impossible star expressed his support for the agent during a meeting at the CIA office earlier this month. I made a mistake with a repost. Like, they made her fucking apologize, dude. They made her apologize. That's how fucking freaky the environment was post October 7. Feels like a lifetime ago at this point. Bob Vylan's statement. I said what I said. Take notes. This is how you do it. As I lay in bed this morning, my phone buzzing nonstop, inundated with messages of both support and hatred, I listen to my daughter typing out loud as she fills out a school survey asking her feedback on the current state of her school dinners. She expressed that she would like healthier meals, more options and dishes prepared by other parts of the world. Listening to her voices, her opinions on a matter that she cares about and affects her daily reminds me that we may not be doomed after all. Teaching our children to speak up for the change they want and need is the only way that we can make this world a better place. As we grow older and our fire possibly starts to dim under the suffocation of adult life and all its responsibilities, it is incredibly important that we encourage and inspire future generations to pick up the torch that was passed to us. Let us display to them, loudly and visibly, the right thing to do when we want and need change. Let them see us marching in the streets, campaigning on the ground level, organizing online, and shouting about it on any and every stage that we are offered. Today is a change in school dinners. Tomorrow is a change in foreign policy. I said what I said. Yeah, I'd love to have him on the stream. What is this? Some billionaires got rich building companies that make the world a much better place, but other billionaires have been very successful at selling stuff that's harmful on net, and others basically just inherited money, and it's hard to really generalize. A lot of discourse prompted by this post, most of it responded to ideas that are not in the text. I think it would be good if people tried harder to become more plotting and literal about things. What? I don't care about Matt Iglesias, man. Fuck him. Here, Health Secretary Wes Streeting says he wishes the Israeli embassy would take the violence of their own citizens towards Palestinians more seriously.
This wasn't just about the people on stage. The Israeli embassy said last night that when such messages are delivered before tens of thousands of festival goers and met with applause, it raises serious concerns about the normalization of extremist language and the glorification of violence. This was as much about the audience as it was about the performers, wasn't it?
Well, I'd say sort of two things in response to those words from the Israeli embassy.
You have an ultimate out. Israel does not have any standing to tell anybody what's what. Israel defenders don't have any standing to tell anyone what's what. Okay? They can say whatever the fuck they want. You can just be like, what are you talking about? You're literally doing a genocide. That's it. Suck my dick. Okay? That is the only answer. What do you mean? Oh, you're worried about people fucking chanting death to the IDF? Okay, don't fucking do a genocide. Boom, easy. Oh my God. Oh, people don't like Israel. Oh, what am I supposed to do about it? Fucking yell at people? Yell at people until they like you? What are politicians supposed to do about it?
Firstly, I do think that if I take the equivalent of the war in Ukraine, I'm unequivocal about which side of that war I'm on. I want Ukraine to win. Would I be celebrating or chanting for the death of Russian soldiers? No. I want to see an end to the war, and I want to see an end to the conflict. I'd also say to the Israeli embassy,
Could you imagine? Oh my God, that's actually really funny, because like everyone was like, all Russians are orcs. They all need to be ethnically cleansed. Okay? That's the type of shit that was popping off in the Western world when Russia unjustifiably invaded Ukraine. Okay? Could you imagine someone going to jail over that statement? Could you imagine someone being censored over that statement? And that's a war. Okay? This is a fucking genocide. It's like extra war. Like, that is still unacceptable, still immensely violent. Okay? Totally fucking the responsibility of Russia. But this is genocide.
Get your own house in order in terms of the conduct of your own citizens and the settlers in the West Bank. So, you know, I think...
Hasan with the controversial takes again. Let's go. Wait, what?
There's a serious point there by the Israeli embassy I take seriously. I wish they'd take the violence of their own citizens towards Palestinians more seriously.
I mean, that's the lightest way to fucking criticize.
Because for years and years and years, decades in fact, in covering this building, it's always... the mantra has been, visa records are confidential. And yet we have a situation where an entertainer in the UK.
Look, all I'm going to say is this, okay? All I'm going to show you is this.
The latest tempest stirred up by the singer who unleashed Gangnam Style on the world. Psy was in Washington yesterday to perform for President Obama and his family at the annual Christmas in Washington benefit. But first, he had to apologize for some anti-American rapping in his past. ABC's Dan Harris here with the details. Good morning, Dan.
This was a shocker. Didn't see this one coming. Psy, the cherubic South Korean, author of the ubiquitous
Cherubic?
Please get this out of my head. Dance craze is, it turns out, a man with a controversial past, one that is now ensnaring the President of the United States. Late Sunday, the president and his family mingled with elves.
Merry Christmas!
And posed in front of a Christmas tree at what is usually a festive but deeply unnewsworthy Christmas in Washington event. But mixed in with the cheer this year was controversy, courtesy of this guy in the red sequin top, seen here getting ready to take the stage.
Oppan Gangnam Style.
He is Psy. You will know him from the Gangnam Style music video, the most watched clip in the history of YouTube. Turns out the man who made countless Americans dance around like drunken horses has a history of vitriolic anti-Americanism. Yes, Psy, the guy who's been on every talk show from Ellen to Leno, where he even performed for U.S. troops.
Bro, does anyone know what he's saying? Because I do, and I've talked about this before. I wonder if all the new heads know, because it's crazy.
Back in the early 2000s, Psy got up on stage in his home country and smashed a toy version of an American tank, and later performed a song whose lyrics included, "Kill those expletive Yankees who have been torturing Iraqi captives, daughters, mothers, daughters-in-law, fathers, kill them all slowly and painfully." Psy issued a statement saying he was deeply sorry for how these lyrics could be interpreted.
How could they be interpreted, dude? What do you mean? Oh, man, he's so dope. Yeah, that's my fucking goat, dude.
Be interpreted. Despite an online uproar, President Obama decided to attend Sunday night's Christmas show. The White House insisted it had...
By the way, it's not even a mistranslation. It's also very deliberately why he's saying that. He literally in the song says, who have been torturing Iraqi captives. Okay? Like, he leaves nothing up to questioning. Yeah. And the song he wrote was after a U.S. tank ran over 2 Korean schoolchildren, I believe. Yes. It is directly in context.
How these lyrics could be interpreted. Despite an online uproar, President Obama decided to attend Sunday night's Christmas.
How will I defend you, dog? Yeah, there is no... I mean, he very clearly stated it, you know?
No control over the guest list. One big question now is what will happen next to Psy's meteoric career?
Again, it's like, I can't believe Psy would say such a horrible thing. Also, how about you stop the systematic rape and pillage of Korea, you know? It's like, especially in that part of the world where there is an American base, there is unlimited violence, okay? Mass rapes, car accidents, no penalties whatsoever. Like, as an American, do you accept his apology? I'm actually annoyed that he apologized.
If you were sitting around making up horrible things that a pop star could say that would get them in trouble, you'd have a hard time coming up with worse things than this.
Oppan Gangnam Style.
Well, Psy is now calling his protest language inflammatory and inappropriate. The man with the invisible horse and lasso now has to figure out how to rein in a controversy that threatens to make him a one-hit wonder much faster than he otherwise might have.
Come on, it was barely an apology. While it's important that we express our opinions, I deeply regret the inflammatory and... No, he did a fucking... Car accidents, what do you mean? Yeah, when your fucking Marines get drunk and drive their vehicles directly into like a Japanese family in Okinawa. That's what I mean. Or like the last one in Okinawa was when a Marine fell asleep at the wheel and killed a fucking whole family. Or when they get drunk and beat someone to death at a bar. Or raping children. That's another one, you know. Commonplace around American bases. Anyway, the reason why I showed that is because this is not new. Yeah, here's the story. Great and breaking news. This morning, the U.S. Parole Commission offered the full parole and immediate release with no supervision of Navy Lieutenant Ridge Alknoys. Here's a picture of Alknoy's family reunited. Missing context. Navy Lieutenant Rich Alknoys was charged with killing 2 Japanese civilians in a car crash in May 2021 after he fell asleep at the wheel. He was sentenced to prison for 3 years in Japan, and then America was like, no, he's not. Give him back to us. Good news, says fake crapper. That's it. And look at this beautiful family reunited. Okay, how about the fucking Japanese family that will never reunite because he killed them? Oh, this is another one. U.S. soldiers charged in Japan for rape of a minor. Also hilarious that they use this Getty image, by the way, because that thing that you're seeing also routinely fucking crashes into Japanese houses and kills people. If it doesn't crash into Japanese houses and kills people, Japanese people, it ends up killing the fucking Marines on board, which it did as recently as twice last year or like a year and a half ago. This is the reported incidents. Anyway, let's continue. Let's see.
Has had his visa revoked very publicly by the Deputy Secretary of State in a tweet, retweeted by Secretary Rubio and confirmed by other officials. So what's the deal with this law? Does it not really apply unless you want it to? Unless you don't want to talk about it?
Well, yeah, I can't speak to the decisions at the times of when to discuss something of this sort. What we do know is a very public dynamic with individuals. We have a very public policy and procedure and process now that we're discussing regarding national security and how we are handling the visa process. In this particular case, of course, what you're referring to is the tweet from our Deputy Secretary of State, Christopher Landau, that the State Department has revoked the U.S. visas for the members of the Bob Vylan band in light of their hateful tirade at Glastonbury, including leading the crowd in death chants. Foreigners who glorify violence and hatred are not welcome visitors to our country.
Unless they're Israeli, in which case we will roll out the fucking red carpet. Even if you are directly targeted by the International Criminal Court as former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant or current Prime Minister Benjamin fucking Netanyahu. Or if you're South African, if you're a South African refugee of what we have described as white genocide, even though the white population of South Africa does not agree with our assessment, we will welcome you. We will also welcome Itamar Ben-Gvir. Yeah, foreigners who glorify violence and hatred are not welcome visitors to the country. If this were actually a policy, Israelis would be routinely denied visas. Nope.
Now, we've stated that when it comes to how we vet people, if they are going to be coming here to be helpful, to be nice people, to be great tourists, or if they're coming for other reasons, that every sovereign nation has a right to decide who's going to come to this country. So we've been public about that standard. And this was a very public event that violated, as you've seen from...
Bro, in the past... and maybe even today, if someone went on stage and said death to America, I don't think we would apply this standard. Like, as I showed you with Gangnam Style, fucking Psy literally said death to American Yankees and their immediate relatives, okay? He said death to American Yankees for torturing people in Iraq, including their mothers-in-law, including their in-law. And he sung to Barack Obama at the White House. What are we talking about? What's next? People can't say death to Nazis? Like, what are we doing here?
The Deputy Secretary's tweet, that very basic standard about the nature of who we want to let into the country. That's all right. It is important the American people support us taking care about who comes here.
Death to nobody soon? No. You can say death to Arabs, death to Palestinians, death to Iran, death to the IRGC. You can say whatever the fuck you want. It's just you can't say death to the IDF. That's the whole point.
Here, I think his tweet and the Secretary's language and his approach on the policy speaks for itself.
Okay, so it's basically, if it's a public kind of facing thing, then you're
I didn't
okay
say that.
with...
I said in this case that's what has occurred. Right. I think that it's the policy certainly is clear for individuals, but when we're thinking about the nature of the policy itself, that is...